Welcome back to the Love the Mom podcast. I'm your host, Jerry, and as always, I'm joined by my pious mother, Christi.
Pious. Ooh, that's me.
Yes, I'm very excited today. This seems like it could be my pick, but this was your pick. We're doing Conclave, the hit 2024 flick, Oscar nom Palooza. Conclave.
Yes.
I don't think it won very many.
One.
Okay. Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, just one. It is a shame. It was nominated for 12.
Yeah. I have not seen Honora. That's the one that ended up winning Best Picture that year. But
I'm wrong. Eight nominations.
Okay.
Sorry. One win. Excuse me.
But Conclave, I saw that in theaters. It was one where I'm like, I don't know if I needed to see it in theaters, but now having watched it at home, I'm like, man, it did kind of hit different in the theater.
Yeah, I believe it. Those sets were amazing.
Like when they're voting in the Sistine Chapel, it's like amazing.
Yes.
But yeah, this was your pick after the rousing success of Before Sunrise. You decided to
And my last pick, Crazy Stupid Love.
That's right.
Yeah, this is not very typical for me, is
No,
it?
it's not. That's like when you said it, I was like, oh, yes, we will do Conclave. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is a rare instance where you pick a movie that you have not seen, but I have seen.
Yes.
And I'm very excited to talk about it. I think I might have talked about it on the podcast, on the Boy Time podcast at the time.
Oh.
But I don't remember, and it was probably bad. So here we are. We're going to really dissect this thing, and it's going to be great. Just spoiler alert, I love this movie. I think it's one of the best
too.
political thrillers of all time. It's been a minute since I've seen All the President's Men. That was the one that was like, when I saw it, I was like, wow, that's amazing. It's been a hot minute. I think it's been like 5 years since I've seen All the President's Men, which we might do, because I think you would like it.
I've never seen that one.
If you like Conclave, I think you would like it. But I guess we'll start off, since you were the one with fresh eyes. What did you think of Conclave?
Oh, I loved it. I have talked to so many people about it since I watched it.
Oh, yeah.
I've had some really interesting. So last night, I was at church running the lyric slides for people, and I was talking with the guy running the soundboard. He's like, well, what'd you do this weekend? I said, oh, I watched the movie Conclave. He's like, oh, all my movie friends are trying to get me to watch it. You absolutely should. And then I read him one of my favorite quotes from the movie, and I was like, you definitely need to see it. There was a lot. It was, okay, this is what I want to say, big picture. Yeah. Who would have thought that this process would have been so riveting?
Oh, yeah.
That it almost felt like a suspense or a thriller sort of feel.
Yeah.
And it's something so innocuous as, like voting for the Pope. Very suspenseful. I really enjoyed it a lot. I think I enjoyed it even more because your dad and I had been to Rome a couple years ago. We had never been to Europe before. And we spent a couple days in Rome and toured the Vatican, toured St. Peter's Basilica next door, saw the whole area where the Pope has Mass out in the public square, the walls around Vatican City where you see them driving by and you're watching those walls. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have stood by those walls. Like, it just felt so, and I've been in the Sistine Chapel. It is so surreal to see it in a movie, and it just hits really differently because I've been there. It was very powerful. I loved that. I loved it so much. Yeah.
That's an interesting perspective because that's like, I haven't been to Rome, unfortunately. I would like to go, but
You would love it.
I'm sure I would. Mm-hmm. But I'm not rich, unlike you, who is absolutely loaded.
Absolutely loaded.
Yeah.
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, I'm dying to do another transatlantic cruise. I would take you with us, but you don't like the cruising part.
I don't. No, I would love
know.
if it was like a 14-day thing at Rome.
Yeah,
I'd be
that's a lot more expensive than a 14-day cruise.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot more expensive. But it was such an amazing experience. I cannot wait to get back there.
I'm sure.
I also am a huge history buff and love art and architecture, especially. And so a place like that, and then to do, as a person of faith, I'm not Catholic. I don't know that much about the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
But obviously, walking through the Basilica, walking through the Vatican would be different for someone who that is their faith tradition.
Yes.
For me, I wasn't as familiar with the tradition, so it probably didn't hit the same way it would for people who are Catholic. But you can't help but walk into this space and see it. I mean, it's just unbelievable to see the amount of art in there. The marble and the architecture and the like. There's the scene in this movie where I'm going to use their name. Well, okay. What was Ray Fiennes' guy's name?
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lawrence and Bellini.
Yep.
Okay.
Like a peach.
Lawrence and Bellini. Yes, they're talking, sitting in that little area, kind of outside, overlooking a courtyard.
Yeah.
And they're sitting in that little area. I don't know what you would call that, but anyway, we had been in that courtyard.
Oh wow.
And so it's like, oh my gosh, I have been there, and that was not, it's not the Sistine Chapel.
Right.
It's just a courtyard.
It's just a courtyard. Yeah.
But it still was like, wow, I've stood in that courtyard before, or, it just is so, that trip, I feel like that trip kind of changed my life a little bit, just because it really, being in those holy sorts of places, knowing that St. Peter was crucified and that's why the Basilica is there, it takes those things, as a Christian, it takes those stories from the Bible, and this is a lot like how people feel when they go to Israel too, but it takes those stories from the Bible, the people that I know and I've read so much about, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, they're real people.
Yeah.
I am standing where he is buried. This is crazy. Mm-hmm. And so some of that perspective shifting of being in the place. So I can't imagine how Catholic people would feel walking through the Vatican or standing in that courtyard or in that area. I know there's a name for it, but I can't remember what it is. But they had it all set up for Mass. All the chairs were out, and you would see the platform where he would stand. And so it's just a powerful place, period. Whether it's your tradition or it's not, it's a powerful place to be. And then to watch this movie about the machinations that are happening behind the scenes, the traditions, the rituals that go with this process. It was fascinating.
Yes.
Even if you're just looking at it from that, not even the story, but visually unbelievable. And I felt like I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And it gave me a respect for those traditions too. Sometimes you look at something like that and you think, well, that's kind of stuffy and old fashioned. You don't need to do that. But there is something really lovely about it too, that this is how we've done it for hundreds and hundreds of years. I don't know, that tradition I feel is becoming more and more important to me the older I get. The idea of stability, and when things are so rapidly changing, having something that stays constant is kind of nice.
Sure.
I mean, there are ideas that aren't great, And that's true in any organization. Like, you have to continue to progress forward.
Yeah.
But the beauty and the detail of those traditions, I think, is just really fun to watch. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, that's like kind of the best part of the movie, in my opinion, is the like granular detail it goes into with the like conclave process. And I think there was like a level of hype around this movie, or like kind of a resurgence, I guess, once Francis died. And then Leo took his place. That was like a big thing where it was like this movie just came out, and then like a couple months later, an actual conclave happened. That one was not near as exciting as the one in the movie, probably because we didn't see inside.
Also, because it was short. It didn't take them very many votes to get Leo. Now, Benedict, that was like this situation that we saw in this movie where it took so many votes to land on Francis. So it is interesting. It makes me wonder, why was Leo's vote so fast? Like, did everybody really like Leo? Because I don't think there was. I kind of feel like at the time I was hearing things about getting a pope from Africa. That's kind of what I was hearing. And then to have an American, it was like, well, that wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah.
And only in 2 votes or whatever that was. It was so short.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I want to know what was happening.
Yeah, it's very interesting. They even they even commented on the like when Adeyemi was like kind of gearing up to be the next pope before his like scandal in the movie. That was like a thing where they're like, we need to pivot and we need to celebrate that this is the first African pope.
Right.
And I'm like, man, that's kind of like genius political kind of commentary. To the level, like it reminded me of, and I know you haven't seen Succession, but in like the last season of Succession, which is the reason that I will never watch the show again, they go through like a presidential election, and because the Roys are like really high up in like the media conglomerate, like they're essentially like Fox News like execs essentially, and like watching them like spin the election and also like having direct talks with like the Trump figure and having that guy be like, we need to pivot to be like, okay, well, it looks like we're going to lose. So we need to like kind of make it look like that we didn't lose and that they like faked everything. And then like having that turnaround where he actually does win. And it's like, okay, well, we walked in with this kind of expectation of the deal. Well, that's changed because I won and now I'm not going to support this. Like, so it's like that kind of like pivoting is like so gross. And like there is that. Like that's the thing that like Bellini, he's like the quote unquote like reluctant pope, even though he wants it more than Lawrence for sure. And more than the person that actually ends up being the pope. It's this like, it's like so scummy. And I think we're coming at this from 2 vastly different perspectives, which we should probably talk about.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a person of faith. In fact, I would say that the Catholic Church, in my humble opine, is like one of the most historically evil organizations that has ever existed in the history of humanity. They have done like incalculable evil, mass genocides of Muslim and Jewish people. And like even now, like the whole like conversation where it's like, well, still women can't even lead. Like, and they talk about that in this movie where it's like,
yes, they do.
That's something that they want to bring up. And I'm like, the fact that all of these old dudes are in this, like, it looks like a cult where they're like in their like rooms and it's like this granite with like, it's like, oh, it's
very
just,
Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, it looks Handmaid's Tale. I was also getting like some like modern Star Wars-y kind of stuff where I'm like, oh, this is some evil empire stuff. And so I was just like, man, this is all so scummy. except for the guy who ends up making the pope. And I alluded to this in the last episode, where I think about this movie a lot. Specifically, like, I wonder what this pope would think when, like, a big current event happens. Like, I wonder how this guy would react. And we'll get into the reasons for that. But it's just like, it's kind of a miracle that the right one won. It was like the whole time it's the wrong guy. The whole time. And then it's like, well, we just have to, like, kind of concede that the evil guy is going to win. Or the guy that...
Because we don't want the other guy. It's the lesser of two evils situation.
And it's like, man, this is arguably the most powerful person on the planet is the Pope. And the fact that, like, it's just, like, left up to these stuffy old guys that wear robes and, like... And that's the whole thing. I'm sorry. I don't want to, like, go off on the Catholic Church. I have nothing against, like, Catholics. It's just the organization that I think is an issue. And you do get some of that where it's like the whiplash, where it's like when all of the cardinals are arriving and we see them arrive in the square, there's like a shot where there's just a cardinal and he's just like on his phone. And he's just like looking like this and he's in a chair in the courtyard. And it's just like this. To me, that's just like, man, everything here is so old and dated, and this isn't how things should be decided. Like, who cares what a bunch of old cardinals have to say? Why is this how the most powerful person on the planet is decided by essentially an echo chamber of people appointed by the last guy? Seems like a busted system, but it's because it's been around for 1,500 years. Where it's like, I think that kind of like stability that you get, I'm just like, tear it all down. And that's just kind of my opinion about everything. But yeah.
I mean, I do understand your point to that. I think any organization, I shouldn't say this. Okay. So what I think about is let's just take the child sex abuse scandal. Obviously, that is a real thing, and they do address it in the movie.
They do.
But, you know, the corruption around that, the cover-up and all of that was horrific, as we all know. And people in the Christian church were like, well, look at those Catholic people, you know, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. You know, like more evangelical sorts of churches. And then we have a blow up. And it's like, there just is no organization. Like, even if you're a faith-led organization, there's no perfection. There will never be perfection because there's power involved. There's money involved. Like, those things corrupt. And so when you're talking about the Catholic Church, I mean, that is like the lifelong debate where people are saying, well, you know, they have so much money and, you know, the Pope has so much power. But I don't see anybody ever going away from that system, like because of the tradition part. Now, what I appreciate about it, I also feel like you do when it comes to corruption. What I think about sometimes is like, well, if you are Catholic and the Pope is like your ultimate authority, well, what happens when you have a really conservative Pope, like
Tedesco?
Like, well, and Pope Benedict, I think was very conservative, and then there was like this swing over to Francis, and Francis was more progressive, right? And so there was this conjecture at the time when they were looking at getting the next pope, which was Leo, that they thought it would probably go back conservative again. And that's, I think, why they were looking at people from Africa, because they do tend to be more conservative on some issues.
Yeah.
The fact that they went with Leo, who is also seemingly pretty progressive, as a Catholic person, do your opinions then do this pendulum thing? Like if you're following the Pope as the leader of your church, if you have a conservative Pope, then are you following these conservative tenets? And then when it goes liberal, then are you following the liberal tenets? That's the part that I don't really know because I'm not Catholic.
Yeah.
But I do think that one thing that I do appreciate about the Catholic Church, and again, a lot I don't know, but one thing I really do appreciate about the Catholic Church is service.
Sure.
And I think of any Christian denomination, Catholics are really the ones that are known for truly like helping the poor and helping refugees. And it's those sorts of, they're very service-minded group of people. Sure. And I do like that. They do a lot of good in the world when it comes to like helping their fellow man. I do appreciate that. Now, do I like that women can't lead? And I love the way they handled that in this movie.
Yep.
Loved it.
Yep.
I loved the birds, which obviously like you've got birds in cages down with Isabella Rossellini. And it's like, I see what you're doing here. And then he's listening to the birds singing outside and like obviously a lot of symbolism there. And ultimately choosing someone who apparently had the blessing of the previous Pope.
Yeah.
Right? And left Lawrence where he was because he trusted Lawrence to make the right decision. But ultimately, like, I mean, that's a interesting call to have to make. And what precedent are you setting? Unknown to everyone.
Yes.
But it is a precedent. Like,
yeah.
So I find it incredibly fascinating. Like the and Isabella Rossellini's character, like she is so powerless and you can see the frustration and the, you know, like these women are voiceless. They're setting tables and making everything beautiful, but when they are needing to speak, they can't.
Yeah.
You know? And that part is really frustrating because but here's the other thing. Like, I mean, who am I to say anything? We went to a church forever where women weren't allowed to teach.
Yeah.
Like, and I did not agree with it, but we kept going. And I'm like, why, you know, tradition. It's a tricky thing. Now, the first time we went to the church we go to now and I saw a woman teach, like I bawled my eyes out. I was like, why did I not? If I felt that way, why did I stay?
Yeah.
You know, that's complicated. And I think within the Catholic Church, my friends who are Catholic are like, well, it's just what we've always done. And when I try to go other places, it doesn't feel right because they're used to their rituals and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's also something outside of the faith element. There's a cultural element to Catholicism that I think is also something that plays a role, maybe more so than other religious groups. So it's very complicated.
It is.
It's a really complicated thing.
Yes. And this isn't a theology podcast. So I don't want to spend...
But it's relevant. It is relevant to the movie.
It is relevant.
All of this is relevant.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't want to necessarily keep talking about our religious views if that's not necessarily what the, like, I don't know. I don't necessarily feel comfortable. But
yeah, that's fine. But I don't think you can talk about this movie and not talk about parallels or your experience or people that you know who are part of this. Yes, the actual goings on of this movie are one thing, but you don't watch this movie in a bubble. Like you understand the context of the situation they find themselves in and the power that we're talking about and the way the Pope is perceived and the importance of tradition and all of that kind of stuff all plays a role, and the role of women in this church as well.
Yes, those are very big things. And that is one thing that I actually do appreciate about this movie. In a world where it feels like we have to kind of like tiptoe around making conservatives upset, especially now, like the biggest snowflakes are the guys wearing MAGA hats and whatever. They are like
Yeah.
expressly the bad guys in this movie. Under no circumstances is Tedesco going to win. Like
Right.
that is the last case scenario because he's a crazy zealot that wants to bring back Latin mass and like
Right.
thinks women should be gagged or whatever. It's like
Right.
that is the bad ending, and it is explicitly the bad ending. And I really appreciate that in this day and
Yeah.
age. I think it's this and then like one battle after another were like the two movies that I saw where I'm like, this is a breath of fresh air. I am so glad that like we aren't like censoring because we have to worry about what the fascists are up to or what the Chinese censors are going to say or the Saudi censors. And it's like everything is just like, no, this is bad, this is corrupt, and this is evil. And I appreciate that the messaging of this movie is to be more accepting, to not choose hate, not choose war. And I think, I mean, I don't know what quote you told your friend. I have a couple ideas. I'm imagining it's the monologue that Benitez gives at the end of the movie after the car bomb goes off outside of the Sistine Chapel.
I wrote down a few actually because I mean there were numerous times I had the subtitles up so that I could get them word for word because there were numerous things that
Yes.
I was like, that is so good.
Yes.
But yes, keep going.
And like that too, like the choosing love, choosing peace. Again, especially now, like obviously we weren't like in Iran shooting people for no reason. The like Israeli Palestine stuff was very hot at the time of like this movie coming out. And I do remember having that in mind when I was watching it in theaters, where it's very, I feel like that's pretty clearly what they were kind of alluding to, just in that like the war on, like, obviously, I think they even mention, like, after the car bomb goes off, then Tedesco says, like, we allow mosques and people into our city, but they don't let Christians in theirs. Like, we need to start excluding people, whatever. Just like classic bad guy, whatever. And so for Benitez to say, no, like, this isn't the way that we should be. This isn't the way that the leadership of one of the biggest religions on the planet should be operating. Like, and two, part of that speech that I really appreciated is because Benitez, who I guess we should talk a little bit more about, but we'll get to in a second.
Sure.
But like his history of like being a essentially like kind of like an undercover priest where he's been in all of these like war-torn areas where it's like maybe like not even just illegal to be Christian, but kind of like punishable by execution, like very dangerous places to be outwardly Christian, let alone outwardly Catholic. And so like for him to be like, no, like you don't know what war is. I've served people where there are like bodies in the street and the streets run with blood, whatever. Which like that line in particular, I'm like, I wonder if they know like what, I don't know if they are like, I mean, obviously they know a lot about Catholics when they made this movie because like all the details are like spot on. But like in the First Crusade with the Catholics like storming the Holy Land, wiped out every single Muslim and Jewish person in Israel. And it's like, I don't know how much of this is myth, but this is what I was like taught in history classes in college, where it's like there was like it was up to your ankles blood in the streets in Israel.
Wow.
And so I was like, I wonder if they kind of like like alluding to the history of the Catholic Church being very violent and outwardly like murdering religious groups that they don't agree with. Where he's kind of like making a stand, being like, we need to be better than our past. I was like, that's really powerful. Like, and that's something that can be extrapolated not just to the Catholic Church, but I mean, like, as an American sitting here, our empire is currently murdering people for no reason, but we have a history of doing that. And it's like, we need to be better than our past. Unfortunately, our past is right now, and we don't appear to be learning anything.
Right.
Considering that this is the third time that we've been in Iran, and it didn't make sense the first two times. So, whatever. This isn't the Jerry talks about war being evil show. That I will say that is like my major conviction, is that war is evil and should never, ever be a thing. And so for a pope to be outwardly like being like kind of modus operandi being peace instead of a holy war against Muslims, I appreciate it. And I think at the end of the movie, it really fills me like with a sense of hope. Where I'm like, this could be where we're going.
Yeah.
It could be.
I mean, yeah, you know, he stands out in so many ways.
Yeah.
And part of it is his age.
Yeah.
Like everybody in there is an old dude. And then you've got this young man. And I loved that throughout the movie, he's looking from up above and we're seeing groups of 3 and 4 people together. And they're all like making their own little alliances, and and then at the end, when they go to make the vote, they show them all walking in as a group with the white umbrellas. It's the first time we've seen them from above as a unit.
Yeah.
All walking in, and then you see Lawrence is the only person without an umbrella. And I'm like, that's interesting to me. That character, boy, that was there. You could just sit and dissect that character for hours.
Oh yeah.
The idea that he was told that he wasn't a shepherd, and that obviously that really messed with his head. You know, that he's a manager, but I'm watching him as a manager of people at my job. I'm watching him have really difficult conversations with people and be incredibly honest with people. Like, it's not like he's being devious about things. He's saying what he thinks and what he feels to people's faces, and does it in a way that is humble and kind, but also firm.
Yeah.
And confronts when they need to confront. And I really had so much respect for that character trying to manage this situation.
Yes.
And then him understanding, like hearing that was his role and feeling so disappointed.
Yeah.
Like that's not what he wanted. And then that scene where he's crying over the Pope. I'm just like, this, Ralph Fiennes was phenomenal in this movie.
We got to talk about that.
So phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, he should have won Oscars. I don't know who won this year. 2024 was Oppenheimer. Was that Oppenheimer year?
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I will go on record right now. I've seen Oppenheimer. The acting wins for that movie made absolutely no sense. I will also counter and say I don't think Isabella Rossellini should have won.
No, I agree.
Because like I think that this is Oscar politics stuff where it's like Isabella Rossellini was thrown to the wolves after Blue Velvet and her agent dropped her, and then Siskel and Ebert are sitting on their ivory thrones being like, she's a porn star. She's naked in this David Lynch movie. And it's like, her career was completely thrashed after like Blue Velvet. And so now it's like, well, she's in a big, like, you know, Oscar baity kind of movie. We kind of got to throw her a nod. That's what it kind of,
I mean, she's
good.
She was nominated. She didn't win, I don't think, but she did get the nomination.
I thought she did
don't think
win.
she won.
I thought she was the only thing that won for Conclave.
Adapted screenplay won.
Okay.
I don't think she did, but she was nominated. And I remember thinking she wasn't in the movie that much. It's kind of like a Judi Dench Shakespeare in Love sort of situation where Judi Dench is in that movie for 10 minutes and wins the Best Supporting Actor nomination, actress nomination.
I was going to compare it to Jamie Lee Curtis, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Also true. Yep.
That's another
great example again.
That's another like Oscar politics thing where it's like, well, she's a legend and she hasn't gotten an Oscar before, so even though Stephanie Hsu is in the whole thing and gives the performance of a lifetime, we kind of have to give it to Jamie Lee Curtis.
Right. Same thing with Judy.
Yeah.
Judy, I don't know if Judy had won an Oscar before that, but truly was in the movie for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, But I forgot where we were.
We were talking about Ray Fiennes. And when he's crying over the Pope.
Dang it, man.
Yeah.
Well, even at the beginning, I always think about this because I've seen where they put drops in their eyes and I'm watching, there's a scene at the beginning where he has a two tears that come down, but we're watching his eyes well. It's not like, we're going to take a break real quick and we're going to throw a couple drops in there. Like it was so good. And then that scene where he's crying over the Pope, I was like, this, but in everything, I mean, those are obviously the big dramatic moments. So subtle.
Yes.
So much of this is an interior movie. We're not hearing his thought process. We're only seeing very limited conversation. So much of this battle is happening in his head and it is all over his face. And it's so good.
Yes.
Like, he would be a great pope. He would be a great pope. Yeah. He was so fair. Like, and I think that's nice to have a character, that is doing the hard thing, and he is never going to be the star. But he is like the guy behind the scenes who's like trying to fight for the good. And that I find redeeming too, regardless of who became the Pope at the end, which I do love that he decided to make him Pope. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
But I think it's him. It is his desire to do the right thing and really trying to, like, when he apologizes and asks for forgiveness when he does something, it's like that sort of humility and looking to try to do something for the greater good is just so refreshing.
Yes.
And he doesn't always do it right, but when he doesn't, he admits it.
Yeah.
And he tries to atone for it and make it, he was so honest with Bellini too. Like, their conversations were, I found that really, really interesting. One of the things I wrote down when it is around that was, it was saying, the papacy should go to someone who doesn't want it. Like, that's said early in the movie. And I'm like, that's key right there. That is a real crux of so many things that are happening in this movie is everybody wants it. Who's willing to do what to get it? And I think that's a wise statement to say the people who want it don't have the right motivation.
Right. Which I mean,
because who would take that on?
And I think that's what's like kind of like misleading about Bellini, where Bellini is kind of set up at the beginning where he's like, I don't want the Pope. I don't want to be the Pope, whatever. But then like once push comes to shove, he wants it more than like everybody else. Like he can sit here and play the like unwilling Pope. But I think what makes it like spoilers, Benitez like the right call is that like he's like, well, I'm going to leave the church when I'm done. Like this conclave has shown me how corrupt and how rotten this system is, and I'm just going to leave and do good on my own. And I wonder like if it was anyone other than Lawrence that asked him to take on the papacy if he would have accepted.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where it was like, because he has such a respect for Lawrence, where he voted for him the entire time.
Yeah, I love that.
Which is so great. I love that too, where
Yeah.
it is just like, he's like, I know you don't want it, but that's what makes you the right call. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
you could be saying the same thing about you.
That's right.
It's,
But he was also willing, both of them were both willing to stand up and speak truth to power.
yes.
Like, because they weren't fighting for this role. You could be bold because you're like not trying to win anybody over. I'm just going to say what's right and true,
Yeah.
which makes you a good leader. If you can't be swayed by power like that,
Yes.
you're making decisions from a good place. So the one of the quotes I wrote down was, it's his speech about certainty at the beginning before they take the first vote. So I'll read it to you. So certainty is the great enemy of unity. Certainty is the deadly enemy of tolerance. Even Christ was not certain at the end. And then he gave the quote for, my God, why have you forsaken me?
Yeah.
Our faith is a living thing precisely because it walks hand in hand with doubt. If there was only certainty and no doubt, there would be no mystery, and therefore no need for faith, period. Let us pray that God would grant us a pope who doubts, and let him grant us a pope who sins and asks for forgiveness and who carries on. That's the speech at the beginning. And then he calls back to that. Benitez calls back to that at the end. And he said, he was talking about doubt and uncertainty and how he is in this place of in between.
Yes.
That his own body is in between. And that, and he's like, that speech, it seems like, was the reason that he knew that he was the person that should be pope, was because of the lack of certainty and the doubt, which is also something that is dealt with throughout the movie
Yes.
too, where he's saying, I can't pray. Like, and I just really think, like, while this movie is so much about power and these interpersonal dynamics, there's also so much that has to do with the actual faith, what it is to be a person of faith.
Yeah.
That you do have times of uncertainty. You do have times of doubt. If you didn't doubt, it wouldn't be called faith, right? Like, you have to. And so that speech, like, he said the first 3 lines, I was like, that's it. I got to stop. I'm pausing. I'm typing. I just thought it was so good. And then another quote I had was, we have seemed concerned only with ourselves, with Rome and with these elections and with power. But these things are not the church. The church is not tradition. The church is not the past. The church is what we do next. I liked that.
Yeah.
Thought that was really, really good. And then the last part was the quote from Benitez that said, I am what God made me, and perhaps it is my difference that will make me more useful. I think again of your sermon. I know what it is to live between the world's certainties. So that callback to that certainty speech at the beginning.
Man. Even
So freaking good.
even you reading those quotes, I got goosebumps. It's like the writing in this movie is phenomenal. Like,
Absolutely.
some of the best I've ever seen. Man, yeah. It's
So good.
genius.
So much wisdom. And also, what it reminds me of is when you pick up a novel that is, I think of Maya Angelou. She's one of my favorite writers.
Sure.
And it's like every sentence is crafted and it has a rhythm to it and it is deep. And when you read it, you read a line and you stop and you're like, could there be a more perfect sentence? I feel like this movie is like a literary novel that has symbolism and deep meaning, and the language itself is like gorgeous. And it's delivered by these top-notch, A-list, amazing actors in such some simplicity and in the middle of so much beauty when you're looking at the environment that they were in. I don't know. This movie, I feel like this is a movie that is like a life changer.
Yes.
I think I'm going to think about this a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about the organization. This is about people. And while the organization plays a role for sure, this is human nature, and it's so wise. It's like a good versus evil, like at its crux. It's good versus evil. And it's so satisfying.
Yes. It is.
To see like good people come out at the top like that, and not because they want to win. Like good people coming, the right person being in the position that you know that they can do good in the world.
Yeah.
That they are not going to get corrupted by this role because, and especially okay.
Let's talk about Benitez.
Let's talk about it. Yes, let's do.
Okay.
Yeah, you go for it. You start.
So the reason I think about this movie all the time is because of Benitez. And specifically the kind of revelation that we have at the end that he's intersex.
Yeah.
It's such a genius move. I think about like, man, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to articulate my feelings on that revelation where it is like so much of this movie is talking about gender and like specifically women's roles in the Catholic Church. I think like a big part of like, you know, that is Isabella Rossellini's role in that she is kind of like the mother hen essentially of all of the nuns that are there, where she's like kind of, there is this like silent power that she has, where it really takes a long time for her to trust Lawrence, even though Lawrence is the best guy out of this whole group of dudes. Where like once the nun from Africa that has Adeyemi's child, is like flown there under mysterious circumstances, which that whole development is amazing. But like she's like really protective over this nun. And she's like, nope, let me handle it. Let me handle it. No, you don't need to get involved. Let me take care of it. And that like really goes to show that like while women have basically no power in the Catholic Church, there is this kind of like mutual respect between good people and doing the right thing. And I think that like the marriage of those two things is like found perfectly in Benitez, and it's the culmination of everything, where it is the like, let's find a pope who doubts, whatever. And the like thing with like his intersexuality is that he was born with a womb and ovaries. He doesn't like have outward genitalia, but he has female reproductive organs. And I love that like he was going to go to Switzerland and get those female organs taken out of him. But then there's something beautiful about the like, God made me this way. So like maybe it's what you said. It maybe my sense of like being different is what's going to make me more useful. And there's a lot to that, especially in a system where uniformity is kind of the norm, where one guy can say everybody has to speak in Latin and everybody has to speak in Latin. It's kind of crazy that he's just like, no, I'm going to be me because this is the way that I was made. And I'm like, man, if we had someone like that in a leadership position, that's game over. Like it's, I'm always
Right.
thinking that. It's like, I don't care like what side of the aisle you sit on. Everybody's trying to be the same as everyone else. And that's just so gross to me. I think the idea of having someone that stands defiantly as their own person, of their own ideals in a system where you have to be uniform is like, it's honestly kind of fantasy because it's not going to happen, but man, I wish it would.
Well, I think too the idea that so much of this movie is about lack of power, the ways that women are used by the system, like that he flies this woman in. She's a pawn. They don't
Yes.
care about her. She's the sacrifice, right? In order to get what they want. And you have all these nuns that are serving. And when someone actually says thank you for, when they're doing the prayer, and it was like they were all shocked.
Yeah.
We're seeing throughout this movie that they have no voice, that their job is to serve the men, that they're being used by men as a weapon to weaponize toward another person.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, you end up with a pope who has female chromosomes, right? I have an X, I have, these genes.
Yeah.
The idea that at the end, he puts someone who basically is man and woman in this position. After we've watched through this entire movie, women being pushed down to elevate someone
Yes.
is such a statement.
It is.
It's such a statement. And it's so, so good. It's like okay. I did have one other thing that I wrote down. That was a quote at the beginning and what you're talking about. I don't remember who said it, but there was a line in there that said, God's gift to the church is our diversity.
I think that's Lawrence.
Is it Lawrence that says
so.
that?
Yeah.
And I fully agree. And I think sometimes when we think about diversity, a lot of times we put race with diversity.
Yeah.
But I think we also need to look at diversity when it comes to gender, sexuality, even like age. Like we're seeing a bunch of old guys and then the one young guy. Like that diversity is so important everywhere. And the idea that they're saying in the church, we need that too.
Yeah.
And then we end up with an intersex person as the Pope at the end, like that is diversity.
Yes.
That person represents so many things. He's not Black, he's not white, he's not male, he's not female. He's like this, he's not young, but he's not old.
Yeah.
He is all of these things together. At the end, that is the person that ends up becoming Pope. Like, that's beautiful. I love that.
It is. Yeah. It's
So good.
very powerful.
Very. Really good. This movie
movie's-
was phenomenal.
It's so dang good.
I mean, you could talk about this movie for hours. There are so many things. And I remember people talking about it at the time when it was coming out, and I just I just didn't know all of the things. Like I would love to watch it again. I feel like watching it again, I would catch so many more things on a second watch. And also I would want to write down so many more quotes. I mean, those were the ones that hit me on the first try through where it was like, oh, wait, pause. I have to write this down. And it's not just about the movie. To me, those quotes that I wrote down about diversity in the church, about doubt, about certainty, when you start getting into legalism and how that damages people, that uncertainty is what allows you to give grace to other people, to not judge. Like there's so many things that that you can apply to your day-to-day life. And we watched this all play out in front of our eyes in 2 hours. I feel like a better person having watched it. Like, I want to be like Lawrence. What an amazing leader.
I know.
So amazing. I don't know. This movie was next level. I absolutely adored it.
Yes. Yeah. Man, it's one of the best movies of the decade. it's an achievement. And that's not, we haven't even really talked about like how good everybody is.
Oh,
Like,
so good.
here's the thing. Ralph Fiennes, he's like one of the best actors working right now. And I'm very sad that he will probably go down in history as the Voldemort guy. And that is such a shame. That is such a shame. He's like a world-class actor. But I mean, I guess those Harry Potter movies, for some reason, they got like Gary Oldman's in a bunch of them and like Brendan Gleeson. It's like
really good people.
They had like so many good actors in those movies. But I would
Emma Thompson, Maggie Smith, like you've got Oscar winners all over the place in there.
It's like it's crazy. It would make it is kind of sad that he's going to be, his like legacy is tied to some transphobic lady from England.
Yeah, but I will say sometimes you have to separate the art from the artist.
Sure.
I feel. And that those are really dang good books. Like they just are. And there are a lot of really cool messages in it too. Like I think that is a tricky situation, but I think if you just look at the work itself outside of the horrible person that wrote them, like it is a really good story. It just is.
It's pretty good. I don't know.
It is pretty good. Anyway.
Ralph Fiennes is so dang good. I love him in pretty much everything that he's been in. Did he win an Oscar for The English Patient? I don't know. He might have won one for Schindler's List, for all I know.
Oh, man, I forgot he was in that. That character.
Oh, he's the worst.
Oh, so bad.
This is why, like, he's one of the best, because he can play the most evil Nazi in the world, but he can also be the concierge in Grand Budapest Hotel, who is, like, one of the most lovable characters in the whole world.
Yes, yes. I mean, he's been in some really great things.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking and I'm like, geez, I forgot he was in, oh shoot, I just lost what it was. I typed, I can't remember what I just saw that he was in that I was like, oh yeah, okay, he's Academy Awards. He has not yet won an Oscar. He was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Schindler's List, Best Actor for The English Patient, and Conclave.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry to all the Christopher Nolan heads. Oppenheimer's not that good. I saw it, I watched it, and I'm like, this is what you guys are talking about? Like, Robert Downey Jr. got his Oscar because he was in 5 minutes of a movie. It's the same thing we're talking about, this whole thing. And this is why I kind of don't care about the Oscars, because I'm like, man, there's so much stuff like this.
I agree. There's a lot of politics to it. I do think, like, something I just saw as I was scrolling through was they were saying, a lot of people thought he had won for Schindler's List, and they think that's why they haven't voted for him for other awards. I'm like, that shouldn't matter.
No, it shouldn't.
It should be on the merit of the performance.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that his performance in this movie is like among the best that I've seen.
So good.
Like truly like transformative work. And like the fact that he doesn't necessarily stand out. Like he's the protagonist, so thus we see more of his acting. But like Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow, even Isabella Rossellini with the little that she's given. Like everybody is so dang good in this movie, giving like career all-time performances. It's crazy. It's nuts.
I agree. I mean, the cast alone is crazy.
Yeah.
Like the idea that you have all of those heavy hitters in there is really something.
Oh, yeah.
The guy that played Benitez, he hasn't been in.
No, I looked him up before we, like, after
said he was an
picked
architect or something.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, he's not. I think I saw like an Instagram post that he was like, like out in the middle of nowhere in like Spain or something. And I'm like, you like cool. Like if you just want to like be
Yeah.
in random stuff, like in between doing cool adventures, like that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was really interesting because he seemed a little familiar to me, but
Yeah.
I hadn't seen him in anything because he hasn't really done anything. He did 2 short films and this. That's it.
Yeah.
So crazy. When we look at awards, because I did put some down. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one. Hold on here. Okay, so like I said, 8 Oscar nominations, with the only win being adapted screenplay. Well deserved, I
Well,
will say.
yes. Yes. The writing is next level.
Yes. It was nominated for Best Supporting Actress for Rossellini, and this was her first nomination. She'd never been nominated before. Lead actor for Fiennes, and then we had Best Picture, Best Music Written for a Motion Picture, Editing, Production Design, Costume Design. Agree, 100%.
Yeah,
Those are all
obviously.
good.
Yeah.
For the BAFTAs, so that's the British awards, that's where they had 12 nominations. They did win 4.
Okay.
Best Picture, Best Screenplay, Best Editing, and Best British Picture. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't know either. I didn't know this movie was British.
I don't know. I guess so. And then Critics' Choice, 11 nominations. So this thing is highly nominated. 11 nominations, but only 2 wins. Critics' Choice was Best Acting Ensemble. Agreed. Amazing. And Best Adapted Screenplay. So that screenplay got a lot of love, which that makes me really happy because it was phenomenal.
Yes.
It also won a Golden Globe for Best Adapted Screenplay. So
Deserved,
no
yeah.
acting awards. That's kind of nuts to me.
Yeah, that is the highlight of the movie to me. Is those performances. Like it's a beautiful movie. Like it's shot amazingly. But it is like it's a movie that like really leans on the actors a lot because it's a lot of
Yeah.
people talking, which a lot of political thrillers are.
Yeah.
So like you kind of need to have like really good actors, but I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen anything like this, and watching it for the second time was amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. Also, the Sistine Chapel, they didn't really shoot in the Sistine Chapel,
No.
but dang, that looked just like it. That little divider in the middle.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, I had forgotten about the divider. And the ways that they get people to go through that room, like the room is stuffed. You are stuffed in that room with people
yeah.
when you actually go in. And you get a nice amount of time, but it's interesting that they just kind of herd people in a very subtle way. There's no like, everybody get out. It's like they have people that it's like watching a sheepdog herd people. And you have to get through that little tiny door between that divider.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, how do they get these hundreds of people through that little door and back out without us even realizing you've just worked us through this room? It was pretty great. And I loved the parts where they were zooming in on the painting. Like something would happen and they would zoom in on like Satan or whatever in the painting or whatever. Oh, it was so good. I love that. The use of art was really great.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's a big part of, I guess, Catholicism in general. They're very kind of like, of the major Christian religions, they're the most material, I would say. And that they're kind of like obsessed with like relics, you know, having different degrees, and like they're like places of worship are very kind of gaudy and have like, obviously, the Sistine Chapel.
Ornate.
Very ornate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Which makes it really beautiful to look at. I know that
does.
it's not important, like in the big picture, but the art that has been created by people, especially by the Italians at that time, like
sure.
amazing art when you walk through those buildings. And I mean, it is really stunning. You cannot take it in. It's like walking through the best museum. It's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
How pretty everything is and the care that is taken of it. And that's the thing. It's like, I can look at that and be like, well, this feels, really materialistic and all of that. But I can also look at it and appreciate the beauty of it, and that they've cared for these items so well, that they hold up so well.
Oh
And
yeah.
like, what a gift to the world to have that art.
Yeah.
It is lovely.
Yeah. That's definitely true. I think like, and this is going to be a weird thing to talk about, but the most recent Indiana Jones video game,
Yes.
which first of all, let me just say, is amazing. Like
Okay.
one of the best games that came out last year.
Okay.
But the first like place that you go is the Vatican. And like it's right, Indiana Jones taking place in like the 30s. The game takes place in between Raiders and Last Crusade. So like there's fascists all over the place, and they're like draping their Mussolini posters all over the place. But there is something where it's like, and I don't know if they went to the Vatican and like took pictures and everything, but it's like really wild. Like while you're walking around, you just like take a random corner and it's like, oh, I'm in the Sistine Chapel now. It's just like, it's like kind of hidden away. It's kind of crazy.
It is.
And like, I don't know. I know that's no substitute for being there, but it is like, wow. That game really like gave me an appreciation for the Vatican and like how beautiful everything is.
Yeah, there just are no words. The other painting that we saw that was really impactful for me was the one where all of the philosophers are on the steps.
Oh, yeah.
Was it the Athens School of Athens or something like that? And you've got Socrates and Plato and the I can't remember who painted it. I want to say Botticelli, but I'm not for sure. But they portrayed Michelangelo because they didn't get along. And so he made Michelangelo this character that was not looked upon kindly. And it's like, this is so, those sorts of stories that you get when you're there. And it's like, the tradition and the stories that have been passed down, that giant mural that's in the front of the Sistine Chapel that you see kind of in one of those opening shots that's not on the ceiling, but at the front of the room. And before you go in, we went on a tour, and our tour guide gave us a picture of the Sistine Chapel, and she went through, okay, look at this woman that's right here in the red dress. This is blah, blah, blah. Look at how strong her arms are. Or like, oh, this person on the front, make sure you look at this when you get in there. So when you walk in, you're not going in cold. There are things that you're looking for that you can appreciate, some of those little details. And it is just awe-inspiring. There's just no other way to say it. This painting that you've seen a million times it's almost surreal to stand there and look at that ceiling and be like, I cannot believe I'm in this room right now. And so watching that just with those few people in that space, thinking, they're just hanging out in the Sistine Chapel is nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts. One of my coworkers just came back from Rome last week, and she said, oh, we saw the Pope. We were in Vatican City touring, and the Pope was there giving Mass that day. And she said, we didn't know he was going to be there. She's not Catholic, so for her it was like, but she said, I got a picture of him on my phone. And he was just little teeny tiny way off in the distance. But she said, of course, the Mass is in Italian. Yeah. So she said, we have no idea what he's saying. We get back to our hotel, and everybody's talking about the Pope because it was the day that he had dissed Trump. In the Mass. And so she's like, it was everywhere. And I was there when he gave that talk. She said, we had no idea what he was saying, but when we got back, we were all like, yes.
That's cool. Wow.
I know. Yeah, she was like, I was there. That is so cool. And I also loved seeing, is it the Swiss Guard?
Yes. Those silly outfits.
I have pictures of those guards from when we were there. I mean, it's crazy that that's like the real thing. There was a guard that was there. We kept making eye contact and he would smile and, he just is a cute young guy. But anyway, what really got me when we went through St. Peter's was I didn't realize that all the popes are buried underneath St. Peter's.
Yeah.
And we were just following the crowd. At that point, we didn't have a tour guide. It was just to go through the church itself. And we ended up down there. I'm like, this seems like a crypt down here. And then I was like, oh my gosh, it is. I had no idea until we got to, let me think, Benedict. Because Francis, they buried Francis. He didn't want to be buried at St. Peter's, I don't think. But I think Benedict was. And there were all these flowers and stuff around his, what do they call those? Tomb, around his tomb. There were a bunch of flowers and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a cemetery down here. I'd never heard that before. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So we'd been walking through like all casual, like not even realizing that we're truly walking through a cemetery of popes.
Oh yeah.
It was, that was just so interesting.
It's really interesting. And also, as Indiana Jones, you do get to go through the crypt.
Oh, you do?
You do. And there's fun puzzles and stuff.
Oh,
as you'd
it was
expect.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool, but also felt a little weird.
Oh, sure.
To be walking around down there and people have their cameras out. And it's like, I don't know. Like some of them have, like the made out of concrete or whatever it is, marble. Where their bodies are above the ground, and then there's like a sculpture of that Pope on top, laying down. And it was like, oh, that's kind of creepy. Now that I know that that's like somebody's grave, it was like, oh my gosh, there's a sculpture of the guy. Like I can look at this sculpture and see what this person looked like. It's kind of weird.
Oh yeah, probably carved out of their death mask too.
Oh, do they do that for popes? Is that a thing?
Oh, they did that for everybody.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I am pleasantly surprised with our current Pope. And again, I'm not Catholic, so I don't know much. But the things that I've heard him say, I am relieved that he is someone that is willing to stand up to our president. And and some of the things that he has been saying have been encouraging to me. So I do take comfort in that. It is still strange to hear a native English speaker talk. Like, I can't believe this dude is the Pope, because you can hear Chicago in that voice.
Oh, yeah.
It is so crazy. Like, I still can't believe that there's an American Pope. It just seems so strange.
Sounds like Bob Odenkirk is the Pope.
I know. But I love it. Like, I love it. And like I said, he just is a more progressive Pope, and I'm thankful for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shout out Leo. Unless it comes out
that
he's like some sort of sex pest or whatever.
I hope not.
I don't want to say anything too positive about any Pope, just in case.
Yeah. Sure. You need to cover your bases.
Yeah. You never know.
Yeah. Protect your reputation.
That's right. And that's what we care about here at the Love the Mom podcast is image.
That's right. So important to us.
Well, what would you rate Conclave? I think I may know your answer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A very solid 5 stars. I think one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah.
I loved it. Like, far and away one of my favorite movies. Like, wasn't even like, would I consider this one of my favorite movies? No.
It is.
I knew it. I have never, ever sat down with a movie and written down quotes. I do that with books. I have never done that at a movie. This movie is something really special. It is.
Wow.
It deserved every one of those adapted screenplay awards that it got. It is a real work of art. I loved it.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I think I was shocked going in because, I watched it and I was like blown away again. And then I went on Letterboxd and I rated it 4 stars the first time I saw it. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why did I only give it 4 stars? I think, and here's what I'll do. It's a nice little allegory to the movie. Because I think I
Okay.
was seeing people give it like 4 stars. Like, and I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to give it too high because then people are going to see that like I rated it too high and people are going to doubt my, my like critique, my critic's reputation if I give this too
Sure.
high. And so I've decided, not certainly, but it's a 5-star movie. It is.
Oh yeah,
It's
it
it's
is.
it's one of the best movies ever made. I think that
So
like
good.
it will go down in I don't know if it will be like a full classic, like a 12 Angry Men, where it's like 80 years later people are going to be going back to Conclave. I hope
Yeah,
so. I feel like there's a lot to be said here
me too.
with like big like nature of humanity kind of stuff, which, as established in the last episode, I don't care about philosophy, but I like it when it's dressed up like this.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. This is something special, really. I liked the movie Two Popes. That
Yeah,
was really good too, but it is not the same as this.
it is not.
Two Popes is more a character study. This is more philosophical, I think, but also a character study in addition. It is both things.
I think Two Popes, while I there is definitely like they do say some stuff. Like it does address a lot of the like contemporary
Sure.
issues with the Catholic Church. It is very like, well, Francis is alive. Like we can't like like there is that angle to it. And I think Conclave is able to like really follow through with like all of its messaging because it's not talking about any real people.
Right.
And I think that helps a lot when it comes to like really
Yeah.
analyzing stuff like this.
I think the thing that was interesting about Two Popes was having the conservative with the liberal
Yeah.
or progressive pope having a conversation with each other. That was interesting.
Yeah.
I think this one I had seen some stuff in like when I was doing some trivia research on it that there were things that seemed like they were nods to Benedict. That the pope that died was Benedict, but I don't know enough about it to speak to that. And sometimes it's like, I don't know if this is just people's opinion. So I didn't,
I don't know.
it's conjecture. But either way, I think it stands on its own. I don't think it has to refer to anyone. And the surrounding situation is so unique. Well, it seems unique. But it does make it is interesting to think about, like, what does this look like for those like Francis that took so long?
Yeah.
What makes you change your vote? Like, if this is the person that you want to be pope, why would you change your vote?
Yeah.
Why would it change at all? I don't know. Like, it feels like you'd be committed to whoever it is and that vote wouldn't change every time.
Yeah.
So what's happening that people are changing their mind? What conversations are happening? Are people getting up and giving speeches? Like, are people stumping for Pope? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Something happens that the vote changes all the time. But again, like the idea that Leo is Pope right now and that vote was so fast. I really think it was only 2 votes, if I remember correctly.
I think so.
That's pretty unbelievable when you think about all those people that would have to be on the same page.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Pretty great. It is. It is. Okay.
Next time on the Love to
Yes.
Mom podcast,
What are we watching? Oh,
Before
number 2.
Sunset.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We are going to be continuing the adventures. I don't remember their names. It's been a minute. It's been a couple weeks.
I don't remember either.
We'll figure it out next time.
Celine?
Yeah, Celine. I can only think of Ethan Hawke. I can't think of his
I know.
character's name.
I can't either.
Jonah?
No.
No, it's
Noah?
No, I don't think so.
Is it a Bible name? Hold on.
I don't think so.
Hold on.
We need to get to the bottom of this.
I know. I'm going to get my notes. I got to get my notes from last night because that will bug the crap out of me. Oops, I accidentally pulled up. I pulled up as good as it gets.
It's Jesse.
Jesse was I right with Celine?
Celine and Jesse, yep.
Celine was right. Okay. Yay. Okay.
So,
yes.
a big
Celine and
follow-up
Jesse.
to Before Sunrise. I don't know anything about this movie. I don't know anything that happens in it. I'm excited to just jump in blind.
Love it. Me too.
Before Sunrise was very good. So, here we go.
Here
We're
we go.
We're going to keep chipping away at these for another month or so.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a nice juxtaposition
I think
between something a little heavier and then going back to, not that there isn't substance to it, but it's got a different vibe for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, well, that sounds great. I will tell everyone to support your local library and call your mom.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.